Do you like SUVs? Well, there's a high chance that you do because they sell like hotcakes in Britain.
Yeah, we've got 5 of our favourites to run you through, so let's get into it.
So we're starting with a very nice one here. We're starting with a Land Rover Discovery Sport, which means it's got this very desirable badge on its nose. But because this is one of the smaller cars from the brand, it is relatively attainable.
Yeah, they go from well under 40k, so your money goes a long way. It looks fantastic and it has 7 seats, so even though it might not look like the biggest SUV, there's plenty of space for the whole brood.
And I have to say, it looks great outside, but I think it looks even better inside.
So this is an R design trim, which means that you've got really, really nice details inside. You've got lovely red stitching. Just in general, the quality is excellent, even though it's, like we said before, maybe not like top end. And in terms of like driver's display, you've got a lovely large digital dash there. You've got really useful buttons actually. You can just flip into like in and out of the safety settings. You've got blind spot assist, and then obviously you've got the central infotainment system, which looks great.
Yeah, it's actually a really impressive cabin in here. And just to be honest, this isn't the most high-tech Land Rover interior, far from it. But yet, still, it's packed full of tech. And stuff I really like in Land Rovers revolve around the fact that you can switch through the off-road mode. So while this isn't the most off-road centric model out there, obviously, you're more likely to see disco sports on the school run than you are going off-road in the Yorkshire Dales. But there are buttons down here, and if you press them, you'll go through multiple drive modes, and they'll tweak the software and just make it handle a bit better on the slippery stuff.
Yeah, give you a bit of reassurance.
Yeah, just in case. And also, it's very nice to know that there's lots of space in this car. As we said, it's not the biggest model offered by Land Rover, far from it, but there is loads of room up here, big, comfortable seats, commanding position, and there's loads of space in the back, and that goes for 2 rows as well. I've got good feet and good knee room, and I've got good amounts of space above my head as well here. What's it like in the back, Freda?
Yeah, it's a little tighter back here, not gonna lie.
I've got a solution.
Ah, bliss.
There we go. And of course, if no one's in the boot, it's as easy as this to turn it into an actual boot so you can put your shopping in it.
Yeah, and if you like that, then you're gonna love this next 7-seater.
Oh yes, this is an X5 M50d, very nice.
Very nice, high performance engine, discontinued, so this is a rare one.
Under the bonnet is a turbocharged 3-litre diesel engine with 375 horsepower and 740 newton meters of torque, which is a lot of muscle.
Yeah, you get a lot of car here and it looks amazing. It's very imposing, really commands the attention. If you turn up at the school gates in this, I think you'll get some people looking.
Yeah, and I've spotted inside it has cream leather on the seats. Yeah, this is such a nice interior. It's so luxurious, and you can tell it's BMW because everything is placed where you want it to be for driving properly. I mean, firstly, I've got some nice shift paddles, really nice steering wheel, and I spot M badges all over the place.
Yeah, BMW do such a good interior for the passenger as well, and the infotainment system is just one of the easiest to use. And I have to say, I'm really comfy because these seats are divine.
Yeah, they feel as good as they look. And I have a feeling that'll be the case in the back as well. Let's check it out.
So I've obviously got loads of space back here, and I also love the fact that the quality back here is just as good as the front. You've got the wood finishes, you've even got dual sound system. But Sam, how is it back there for you?
I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit cramped. I mean, this is obviously a space for kids and I'm just under 6 foot, but technically I do fit, technically.
So the luxury continues back here because you have a 2-part electric tailgate.
Nice.
And an enormous boot. It's huge, right?
That's massive. With those seats folded down, you have loads of space, vertical and horizontal as well.
Yeah,
although
pack whatever you want.
The next one's got quite a lot of space as well, hasn't it?
It does. We've gone from something a bit more imposing with the BMW to something very nicely stylish and subtle with this Swedish option.
Yeah, this Volvo XC60 is very smart.
Yeah, it definitely targets a slightly different buyer than the BMW, and it is a bit cheaper. That might be because the engine's a little bit less show off as well.
Yeah, but it's still a sensible thing. It's a petrol turbocharged engine, which most people buy these days. And I think the styling's really nice. I agree, it's sensible, understated. And the interior as well, in these Volvos, is pretty unique.
So this interior is a little bit more homely, and I really like that. I feel like I could watch my favourite TV show. I'm so comfortable, to be honest.
I mean, it has a pretty big screen in the middle, although it's portrait, which is different to most cars these days. But the system that Volvo uses is actually very good, and the buttons on the touchscreen are so big and easy to operate. You can do it while you're driving, no problems. And the instrument cluster ahead of me is also super crisp, super sharp, nice and easy to read. Actually, everything in this interior is so easy to get the hang of. I mean, the buttons are big and all positioned nicely, and I've spotted in the back, it looks like there is a lot of room.
This is easily one of the largest 5-seaters. I mean, for rear passengers, you've just got so much space, right?
Yeah, loads of space all around here. And this middle seat as well is pretty wide. In fact, yeah, I would agree. It's probably one of the most spacious 5-seaters. And because there's nothing in the boot in terms of seating, you've got more space for your shopping as well.
So with this electric tailgate comes the ginormous boot, right?
That's really long, and because there are no seats in the boot, you've got a bit of underfloor storage as well. All right, it's quite thin, but it's a place to hide stuff. Pretty good.
And now we're going to throw an electric SUV into the mix. This is the Kia Niro Electric, and you can tell from these jazzy blue electric highlights. And if you haven't actually driven one before, because it is a very popular EV, you might have ridden in one because it's also a very popular Uber.
Yeah, actually I've ridden in many myself, and I've driven quite a few of these as well. This is the previous generation model. There is now a slightly swankier looking new version, but even this previous one still has a claimed 282 mile range. So there's plenty in the battery, especially for city life, but even if you just want to get away for a weekend, you should have enough in there. So it's a very functional car. I think inside as well, it is extremely functional and extremely practical, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Great for families. So as Sam said, Kia very much prioritise practicality. So you get all the kit. It still looks really good, but it is functional first. I got my digital dials, I've got infotainment, but kind of most importantly, if you've got a small family, you've got lane assist, you've got blind spot, you've got rear parking cameras. I mean, yeah, very well kitted out, impressively so for the price.
Yeah, definitely so. And you have a heated steering wheel, so your hands can be warm. So there's a heated steering wheel over there, and also Kia have fitted, they do this in a lot of their cars, heated and cooled seats. So when it's summertime, you can be nice and cool as well. But obviously today we've got everything whacked up for hotness. And actually, when it comes to the functionality elsewhere, there's loads of room. I mean, I'm spotting down here, big storage here, lots of space in here, you name it, this car's got functionality. And actually, with this higher grade trim, we've got leather seats in the front and in the rear.
Looks good back there.
Yeah, let's check it out.
So it's very much no thrills in the back, but we do have leather seats and they're heated. But one of my favourite features is the JBL sound system, which is great if you have kids and means that you can have a family argument about who's DJing.
Yeah, well, at least you're not going to argue about space because there is good room in here. I mean, I'm nearly 6 foot and there's good knee room, good headroom. Middle seat's pretty narrow, but you definitely get 2 teenagers in the back here. All okay, I think. And that's because this car does have a pretty straight roofline, unlike some other SUVs where it sort of curves down. This one stays straight quite far back, and that also means that the space in the boot is pretty good as well, certainly in a vertical way, and we can show you. So the boot on this Kia e-niro is, well, it's pretty usable actually. The space here is really wide, and there's a nice, almost perfectly flat floor here for loading.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in size to a hatchback you might be used to. Bit more space to play with, but it's definitely not one of the biggest we've seen today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this isn't a massive SUV. It's kind of more medium size, but you do get space down here, crucially, to put your charging cables for this car. So it means they're not going to be rolling around in the boot. And it also demonstrates that the battery doesn't come all the way out to the back. So it's a good usable area there. I'd like to think of it as a big electric hatchback. And, you know, for about 30K, that's not bad going.
Yeah, but you might not be ready for electric yet, which is fine, in which case we've got a more affordable petrol Qashqai.
Yeah, this Qashqai is on cinch for 18.5 grand, and with a small deposit, you can get one of these for just a couple £100 a month. They represent amazing value for money.
Yeah, and also they're actually really fuel efficient because this petrol engine's only 1.3 turbocharged. So again, you're going to be saving money day to day, which is great.
It's a punchy motor as well, and with a 6-speed manual, easy to live with and easy to work with. And I have to say, the interior in these things is perfect for family life. It's very tough.
The interior is lower quality. You do have some harder plastics, and the screen is a little bit more dated. But even though it's not a very top level trim, the safety is still there, which is very important if you've got a family, right?
Yeah, you've still got all of the essentials there. You've got cruise control, lane keep assist, they're all there. And while I don't have a digital instrument cluster ahead of me, I got a little screen, but it's 2 analog dials. I mean, they're so easy to read. And I mean, for some people, big buttons, simple dials are going to be the priority. And you still get loads of kit, as I mentioned. You've still got lots of space for cup holders and, you know, phone storage, you name it. You got it down here as well. And it's a comfortable place to be. I mean, these seats, while they're not leather, are actually quite comfy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And in the back as well, you've got plenty of space for the rest of the family.
It's actually really rather nice back here because of this.
Panoramic sunroof.
It looks so nice, and also it makes you feel like you've got a lot more space in the back, right? So even Sam's just under 6 foot is fine in here, right?
Yeah, exactly. This actually, yeah, you're right. It makes it feel a lot bigger, but actually, genuinely, there is good space, good knee room, and I mean, this middle seat's pretty generous as well. There's an armrest in here if you want it, but if you have to squeeze a kid in the middle here, they should fit. And crucially, we've got 2 USB ports down here. Now that's more than you get in some premium models in the back. So like we said, family centric, 2 kids in the back here. They're going to plug in their devices. That should hopefully keep them happy and calm on those journeys. And in the boot as well, if those journeys happen to be long, I believe there's a lot of space in there for some suitcases.
Similar in size to the Niro, but the boot is much more impressive, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. It goes back nice and far. And crucially, you've got this underfloor storage as well, which is actually quite deep. So it means from front to rear, this Qashqai does offer you a lot for your pound.